Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is KPZ. You are here on the home of the slightly above average ship review. Got a match for you today in a ship I forgot about. I actually was on the road all weekend. I drove 720 miles on Sunday and then maybe another 200 or 300 miles on Monday. So I forgot. Anyway, we're on Trident Domination match in the early access Pan-European destroyer Muavenet. Muavenet. We're moving it in the Muavenet. I don't speak Turkish, I guess, so I don't know how to say that. Not only am I fighting the enemy, but in this match you will see I am fighting the internet, which is rubber banding really hard. I almost threw the controller and quit, but I did not, and as a result, you now have this game. Which, in somewhat of a milestone, is my last video coming to you from the great state of Missouri. And when you next hear the dulcet tones of my voice, I will be in my new Southern Command in the great state of Georgia. A move which I'm doing because I got a promotion. So hooray for me. All right, anyway, we're moving out in the Muavenet. It is solely a gunboat. My build is not totally optimized. We'll talk about that in the port after the match. But yes, even though you see what are called torpedoes here, build into your guns and nothing else, because this is a gunboat. And I'm imagining every destroyer after it in the line, which I only have the next one, the Tier 5 name, I don't even remember. This is a gunboat built on the chassis of an English destroyer. So as we send the torps, we're going to cap this base. Let me go read you the history of the artist formerly known as the HMS Inconstant, and the number H49, was an I-class destroyer built for the Turkish Navy, but was not but they didn't actually get it because it was purchased by the Royal Navy in 1939. I-class, an improvement of the H-class. I know that seems kind of like, yeah, no kidding. Icarus is an I-class destroyer. So basically this is the Turkish version of the Icarus that you're seeing here. And when I say, yes, it is only a gunboat, please believe me. Blah, blah, blah. Let me see here. The ship participated in the assault on Madagascar in May 1942, attacked and sank the German submarine U-409 in the Mediterranean northeast of Algiers. There's a name I haven't said in a while. Also sank U-767, along with destroyers Fame and Havelock in the English Channel, southwest of Guernsey, which was a Nazi stronghold, in June of 44. Inconstant was returned to Turkey in 1946 and renamed Muavenet, discarded in 1960. The name Muavenet comes from a earlier destroyer, Muavenet Ilmiliye, if I pronounced that correctly, a destroyer of the Ottoman Navy that sank a German battleship named Goliath. So I guess they were like thumb in your eye. All right, we got a solo base cap in the Charlie cap. We're going after the pod. I'm doing my shoot to distract you from the torpedoes technique, and you will see it's going to work. Kill number one. Down goes the pod. If you had told me I would defeat a pod in a battle, I would have been like, no. The pod is, in my opinion, is an extremely strong destroyer at this tier. So that pod driver must have not known what he was doing. All right, there's still another destroyer here in the Bravo cap, so we're going back for seconds. It is a Fubuki. I want other people to shoot at him first until my turrets come around. And they're slowly making their way. So we'll start shooting at him. These turrets are a little bit better than the English turrets. I feel they have a little bit better turret traverse. And the big difference is the shells. The shells do more damage. I think it's 200 max damage each, more damage than the English version. They also have a higher fire chance by, I think, 2%. A true CC would have given you the exact science numbers, but I'm too lax for that. So I'm just guessing the Royal Navy guns at this tier do 1700 HE shell max damage with a 7% fire chance. These guns do 1900 HE shell max damage with a 9% fire chance. But the torpedoes are really lackluster. Very, very low damage torpedoes. They are fast, but that's all they got going for them is the speed. All right, here we're going to torp at Mutsu. We're going to back up and avoid Fubuki torpedoes because he can't imagine I would maneuver in the smokescreen. We are lighting up Mutsu. All we want to do is set Mutsu on fire, although I have a sneaking suspicion my torpedoes are not going to get there. There's our second solo base cap. And as we traverse our smokescreen, we do set Mutsu on fire, but torps are going to miss, unfortunately for me. Farragut out there, I elect not to shoot because he's a little bit far away. I find these guns are pretty accurate. I mean, basically, you're going to play it like an English destroyer, but more gunboaty, if that makes sense. So if the Royal Navy ships are more middle-of-the-road ships, this is that same middle-of-the-road ship, just more gunboaty. If you can get an encounter with a true gunboat, and I'm not saying this isn't a true gunboat, but like a Farragut or something, you want to get that first salvo off because that first salvo is going to do a lot of HE damage and you're going to chunk the opponent destroyer. So you really have to pick your engagements carefully from that perspective. Get the first salvo in. Because if you don't, it's entirely possible you can engage in a gunfight and have almost no HE left. Kind of a lot like the Italian destroyers. You know, if you don't dictate the engagement on those guys, you might not live much longer. Anyway, we get a kill there of the Phoenix, who dared show his ugly face. We now have 2 kills, and we're just doing another big super loop here in the Bravo cap. We have all of the caps. Our team has only had a couple of ships killed, and so at this point we're trying to finish off the enemy team. So I've had a much better damage game, about 65k damage. I'm just showing this match because, A, I want you to be impressed with how patient I am with my terrible internet, a situation I hope to rectify. But also because I think this shows the engagement with the pod, picking your battles, using both your weapons to your advantage. But I think it's a neat little destroyer. You're not going to get a ton of damage in these things. So again, another destroyer where you have to do the little things that we've talked about. You know, you're going to have to get those caps. You're going to have to reset the cap. You're going to have to chip in torpedoes where you can. And then you're going to have to ambush the enemy destroyers and use your improved HE shell damage to make them regret their choice in life. So here the Farragut is going to hide in the smoke. And I swear you're going to be super impressed by the end of this. The internet starts rubber banding really hard. Here he comes out of the smoke. We get the gun sort of on target. Salvo number 1, big chunk damage there. Salvo number 2, is he still alive? I don't know. Oh, he's dead. All right, that's the end of the match. And yes, as soon as this match was over, I said F you to my internet and stopped playing. Good grief. All right, here we are on the victory screen. Just 23,901 total damage. Couple of torpedo strikes, 3 kills. We set 4 fires and 2 solo base caps. We ended up with 189,275 silver, 5,600 ship XP, 5,900 commander XP in the Muavenet. And I would suggest to you that this is an example of a good game in the Muavenet. It is one of the few games where I was top tier. Here we are at the top of the board, 1860 base XP, 3 big kills, leading the way for our team in the victory. But yeah, I think 100,000 damage games in this ship are going to be exceedingly rare. You're built to kill other destroyers. All right, here in the port, it is in early access. Mod, we went with Aiming Systems Mod 1. We have all of the ship upgrades, and we're just a smidge away from getting the stored, which I already have in the port, with no upgrades. All right, loadout, unlimited damage control, 2 charges of the smoke generator, 2 charges of the engine boost. You can also swap the engine boost with DFAA. I don't recommend that. You'll see why in a minute. But yes, I don't know why that's on there. It's really worthless. All right, epic ship XP booster and the common battle booster for speed. This ship didn't come with the camo, so I made my own European camo. Thank you very much. And of course, the early adopter flag. Taking a look at the specs, 11,900 hit points with our build. Here's where the sausage gets made. 4 120mm turrets, 9.8 kilometer firing range, 5.2 second reload, 15 second turn time. HE shells 1900 max damage with a 9% fire chance as described. Oh, torpedoes. Look at how low that number is. 1 quad launcher reloads every 75 seconds. Max damage is just 6,200. Yikes. 6 kilometer range, also yikes. 72 knots, that's a good point. They're kind of fast. Detectability is 1,600 meters, so not great. AA defense, also a huge weakness at the lower tiers. Why bother even talking about it? It is terrible. Maneuverability is kind of a bright spot. 39.1 knots in the water, 540 meter turning circle, 3.4 second rudder shift time, which is nerfed by a penalty in our commander screen, and 4.9 on the surface, 2.9 from the air, 2.1 when firing in smoke. So you're fast, concealable, and you got a good alpha strike on those guns. That's how you do it. All right, we have played 7 games. We have a 71% winning percentage. Main battery accuracy, 53%. I'd say that's right on. And that's pretty good, I feel. Torpedo accuracy, 15%. They're fast. They don't do a lot of damage. We are killing 1.3 ships per game in this ship, but our average damage is 23k. Our best damage game is 62k. But otherwise, all those rest of those stats pretty much come from this game. I think maybe the 7 airplanes were shot down in the 62k game. All right. Anyway, nothing really special in the armor screen. This stuff is generally accurate, which is shocking. Here's our commander jersey. Swirsky base trait decreases the detectability. Eric Bay decreases detectability. Here's the guy I would swap out, but because Swirsky needs AA for those gunboaty pan-European ships at the upper tiers, this is the only thing I would change. If we could get another, maybe a, not that I want another Azer Lane pan-European commander, but if you were going to swap out or look for another inspiration, I would pick, what commander am I looking for here? I would pick the French commander, Louis d'Artigue Dufournet, as my second inspiration, because he's all about HE damage, and he's a better inspiration than a Bueno. So that would be my pick if I was building this commander from scratch for these new pan-European ships. Row 1, Observant Rage. There's the rudder ship penalty we talked about. Row 2, Look at Me Now. Row 3, I chose Perceptive, but I could see if you chose Twister Track. You could choose either of those, just depending on how you feel about it, comfort-wise. I think the incoming damage reduction is important, though. Row 4, this unique skill Fox Flare doesn't apply because we don't have radar at this tier. Maybe the upper tiers, you swap it out, but for right now, Smoke on the Water, and of course, Unstoppable. Anyway, that is the Turkish destroyer Muavenet. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe down below. I will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.